5 signs Leonor is ready to announce her relationship. You know what caught my attention this week? Not a speech, not a royal ceremony, not even the military training clips everyone keeps reposting. It was a look, a very specific look from Princess Leonor during a recent public appearance, the kind of look royal fans immediately freeze frame because it feels just a little too personal to be accidental. And honestly, I think we're watching the early stages of something the Spanish palace can't hide much longer. Because for the first time in years, Leonor doesn't look like someone trying to avoid relationship rumors. She looks like someone slowly preparing the public for them. And that changes everything. What makes this interesting is that the Spanish royal family has always treated Leonor's private life like classified information. Every photo is controlled, every interaction gets analyzed, every male friend suddenly becomes international news for 3 days. But lately, something feels different, and I don't think people are imagining it. While Catherine, Princess of Wales and Prince William continue presenting that polished, future king and queen image in Britain, Leonor's approach feels way more modern, almost strategic. Less fairy tale, more calculated authenticity. And weirdly, I think that's why younger audiences connect with her more now. Because she's no longer trying to look untouchable. She's starting to look human. And today, I want to break down the 5 signs that make me believe Leonor may be closer than ever to publicly revealing a relationship. Not palace PR, not tabloid fantasies, actual behavioral shifts. And trust me, sign number 5 is the one that convinced me this isn't random anymore. But first, let me say something important. If you're new to Leonor's story, subscribe, I post every day. Because what's happening around the Spanish monarchy right now is bigger than gossip. It's a complete generational shift, and most people are only seeing the surface. Now here's the first sign. Sign number 1, she stopped running from the cameras. This sounds small, but psychologically, it's massive. A year ago, whenever relationship rumors started circulating around Leonor, palace appearances became colder. More controlled, less spontaneous. You could almost feel the media wall go up instantly. But recently, she's been noticeably more relaxed around photographers. And before somebody says, well, maybe she's just more confident now, yes, that's part of it. But confidence changes body language in very specific ways. She's holding eye contact longer. She's reacting naturally instead of correcting herself mid-expression. And there's this subtle thing I noticed. She's no longer over-managing how she appears during public interactions with men around her age. That matters. Because royals don't accidentally loosen media discipline. Especially heirs. Especially future queens. I actually think the palace understands something now that old royal systems struggle to accept. Hiding everything creates more obsession. Look at what happened for years around Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The secrecy became part of the story itself. Modern audiences don't expect perfection anymore. They expect honesty. And Leonor's team may finally understand that. Sign number 2. Her image has become more personal, not more royal. This one is fascinating to me. Normally, when a future monarch grows older, the institution pushes them toward formality. More distance, more seriousness, more symbolism, but Leonor's image lately feels warmer. Less, future queen behind glass. More, young woman balancing enormous pressure. And honestly, I think this is intentional branding. Because the monarchy knows her biggest strength isn't mystery anymore. It's relatability. Even the way clips are circulating online feels different. Short smiles, casual interactions, tiny awkward moments that would have been edited out years ago are now left in. That's not accidental. That's modern image strategy. And here's my hot take. I think Spain watched how social media transformed public figures like Mr. Beast into massive global personalities through authenticity, and they realized younger audiences connect more with emotion than perfection. No, I'm not saying the Spanish monarchy is copying YouTubers. But I am saying the era of untouchable royalty is dying. Fast. Sign number 3, the rumors aren't being shut down anymore. Now this is where things get interesting. Because historically, whenever rumors about Leonor's love life started trending, palace insiders would quietly cool things down. Suddenly new headlines appeared, attention shifted, stories disappeared, classic royal media management. But recently, silence. And silence from a royal institution is rarely meaningless. In fact, sometimes silence is the message. Because if a rumor becomes dangerous, palaces move quickly. If they don't, it usually means one of 2 things. Either the story is harmless, or the public is being slowly conditioned to accept something before an official moment arrives. And honestly, I lean toward the second option. I think the palace knows Leonor announcing a relationship someday is inevitable. She's not just a royal figure anymore. She's becoming a global celebrity in her own right. And the longer they treat romance like forbidden territory, the more explosive the reveal becomes later. That's why I think they're slowly normalizing the conversation now. Little by little, carefully, almost testing public reaction in real time. Sign number 4, Leonor looks less isolated than before. This part actually surprised me emotionally. Because if you go back and watch older footage of Leonor from a few years ago, there's often this feeling of isolation around her. Like someone carrying responsibility too early. And honestly, I used to wonder whether the crown was forcing her to grow up faster than she wanted. But recently, something changed. She seems lighter. And no, I'm not saying lighter automatically means romance. But emotionally supported people behave differently. You can usually tell. The energy shifts. The pressure doesn't disappear, but it stops dominating every expression. And I think audiences subconsciously feel that when they watch her now. This is where I think comparisons with King Felipe VI become interesting. Felipe grew up in a very different royal era. Controlled, traditional, structured. Leonor is growing up during the age of TikTok analysis, viral clips, AI edits, and global commentary channels where millions of people analyze facial expressions frame by frame. Completely different environment. And honestly, I think she's adapting better than most people expected. Sign number 5, she's starting to control the narrative herself. This is the biggest sign. And the most important one. Because the real shift isn't about whether Leonor has a boyfriend. The real shift is this. For the first time, it feels like Leonor herself is becoming the center of the narrative, not just the monarchy around her. That's huge. Old royal systems survive through institution-first storytelling. But modern audiences follow personalities. That's why people obsess over individual royals more than royal systems now. And Leonor seems aware of that. You can feel more personal confidence in how she carries herself publicly now. Not rebellious confidence. Not reckless confidence. Controlled confidence. The kind that says, I know the world is watching, and I'm no longer afraid of being seen. That's a completely different, psychological stage. And honestly, I think that's why relationship speculation keeps growing stronger. Not because people suddenly discovered new evidence. But because Leonor herself feels emotionally more prepared for public adulthood now. And public adulthood for royals eventually includes romance. There's no avoiding that forever. What I think the palace is really preparing for. Here's my personal analysis. I don't think the Spanish palace wants a dramatic, royal romance reveal moment like something from the 1990s. I think they want normalization. Slow acceptance. No shock factor. No scandal narrative. Just gradual public adjustment until eventually the idea of Leonor dating feels completely natural. And honestly, that might be smarter. Because modern royal survival depends less on mystery now, and more on emotional connection. That's why younger audiences still care about royal stories in the first place. Not because of crowns, not because of ceremonies, but because they see real human pressure underneath all of it. And Leonor represents something unique right now. A future queen trying to balance tradition with modern visibility in a world where privacy barely exists anymore. That's not easy. Actually, it might be impossible. But I'll say this. If Leonor does announce a relationship someday, I don't think the biggest story will be who the person is. I think the real story will be this. It will mark the exact moment Spain fully realizes that Leonor is no longer the future. She's already stepping into the role now. And maybe that's what people are truly reacting to. Not romance, growth. Because sometimes the world notices you becoming an adult before you even notice it yourself. And honestly, I think that's exactly what's happening here.